again, race fans, and welcome. It's season 17, race 3 of 12, 95 laparoonies around the old Michigan International Speedway. Good old Brooklyn, Michigan, built by the great Roger Penske back in the 90s. And this race today, the Rescue Ranch 190, presented by none other than Jason Lowe, one of the great competitors here in the International IndyCar League. So great to have you with us again. I'm Trevor Greenfield. You're watching VirtualRacing.Network in our ongoing coverage of the International IndyCar League, this being our 7th straight season. So great to have you with us because today we're going to be seeing 230-mile-per-hour race cars out there battling it out at the high banks of Michigan, and it should be a blast. So settle in, grab your favorite beverage, and get ready. Strap down tight. It's going to be a lot of high-flying action. Well, let's go ahead and send it down trackside. See what these drivers are doing out there trying to get ready to qualify for today's race. You see Mike West out there right now putting in his first qualifying lap, actually his second qualifying lap. Now Robert Barnicow getting in his second qualifying lap. And you can see Rick Lovison and Rick Kelbaugh now getting in great qualifying laps as well for their season, which we'll get to the points here in a minute, but so far everybody's still in it. Rick Lovison having to drop a week last week, but Rick Kelbaugh here trying to do everything he can, Mr. Stickwick, to get himself pole position for the first time here in the International IndyCar League. Can he do it on the second lap because he's just been supplanted by Jason Lowe. Jason Lowe in the pink pig there. Kirby the pink pig. Well, Lowe getting pole position tentatively with a 32.60 time. Rick Kelbaugh currently shown in second place. An old favorite in the crowd, back for high-flying racing action here again today. That's David Zaleski. You saw him on screen there just a moment. And now here's Dominic Harte, another one of the favorites in the crowd. Always a chance to take pole position, always a chance for a podium or a win. Those super fast drivers out there. And also one of our great presenting race sponsors as well, Dominic Harte. Jimmy Drennan just getting in his qualifying lap. How about this guy? You heard of him? David Strid just getting in his very first lap. Let's go ahead and jump on board. Some sectors up there. There you go, a couple of green sectors for Strid on his first lap. And not straight to the top of the boards, but you do see who does march to the top of the boards. That's Graham Bunyan, last week's pole sitter and race winner. Will he be able to capitalize on that and continue his points lead here in season 17 as he tries to reclaim that crown for David Strid? Or will Strid take pole position here today? Well, Strid only good enough for second place. About 5-1. Actually, it's shown as similar time, 32:59. However, Bunyan setting his fast lap and able to, on the first lap, be about 5/100ths faster. So Bunyan, fast driver, putting in his pole position lap, and so I have Ryan Bowles out there finishing up his qualifying session. Getting that one in the books. Actually, he's already finished his, working on third lap. Of course, you got to be careful if you do too many laps. They will disqualify you. You can't really, I don't think you could do that around here with the amount of time that you have to qualify. Either way, go ahead and get this stuff off the board, and we'll take a look at today's starting grid for the Rescue Ranch 190 presented by Jason Lowe. as the drivers head down there to the grid. You can see how it's going to stack up today. Starting, well, pole position does mean something. How much it means, this is one of those tracks where you could draft from pretty much last to first in just a couple of laps. So it's maybe more a position of pride, but certainly for the first few laps, you'll have a lot less to contend with if you can start up front. So Graham Bunyan going to be starting on the pole. As you can see, great place for him to, of course, continue that potential season championship clinching run. We'll see whether he can do that. He's only got a little bit of a head start over drivers going to be starting on the outside of the front row, David Strid. So that marks all Australian front row. Well, how about an all United States second row? Jason Lowe starting in third position, racing with that rescue ranch in his hearts, not on his side pod, but in his hearts. And certainly we'll get a chance to talk more about rescue ranch as we go on. Rick Kelbaugh, what a fantastic qualifying effort for Rick. Just goes to show you when he wants to put that right foot down, he knows how to do it. There he is, going to be starting outside second row. See whether he can hang on to that great position. David Zaleski, looking like he never stepped out of the cockpit, going to be starting in third position. And see there on your screen some of these drivers, they get ready for their races today. Dominic Harte going to be starting on the outside of row 3 next to David Zaleski. On row 4, Matty Simpson returns to the cockpit. Great to have him in the field next to Rick Lovison. Lovison with a great qualifying effort here in 8th place. Jimmy Drennan going to be starting alongside of longtime favorite Dan Ensch, racing for the ALZ.org Last Lap Motorsports. Howard Livingston will be starting on, actually we're showing Howard Livingston there starting on the board. It shows Mike West. I think he has an end of line penalty. So Howard Livingston will be next to M.J. Ramirez. And then Manuel Gomez Esteban will be starting alongside of Robert Barnicow. Ryan Bowles will be starting next to Iñigo Mardones. And Angel Alcaniz Ponce for Team Mazinger. Of course, fellow Team Mazinger driver to Manuel Gomez Esteban. Iñigo Mardones with the Necky Racing team, and Howard Livingston with the CareCamps.org Coconut Castaways. It does look like Will Stearns is sitting on pit road. He may actually get out there, not sure. Mike West also sitting in the pits as well. So that is how they will start today's race. Not sure if those other drivers are going to actually make it out there, but either way, we get set for an afternoon of exciting action. Hope you're excited. I certainly am.
Green flag, green flag.
And we are underway here at Michigan International Speedway. Graham Bunyan will lead us down to turn 1, and you see them starting to file in behind. Rick Kelbaugh taking position just behind Jason Lowe there in third in the pink machine. Now a little bit of side-by-side action, a little bit further back. Dominic Harte side-by-side with David Zaleski, and now you can see Strid wasting no time going to the front. He wants that clean air. Strid up into first. Graham Bunyan in second. Jason Lowe in third. Dominic Harte slotting into that fourth position. Out the back there, you can see Graham Bunyan headed down into turn 1. He'll take that position back. Dominic Harte holding tough in third, sliding up just in front of Jason Lowe. Got to be really careful with those types of maneuvers. You can see him slicing and dicing behind. It's going to be a tough one to call if they're going to keep passing each other this quickly. But right now, it's David Strid, Graham Bunyan, Dominic Harte, Jason Lowe, and David Zaleski, your top 5, with Matty Simpson, Rick Kelbaugh now dropping back to that 7th position. Jimmy Drennan, M.J. Ramirez. Now it's 3 wide through turn 1 with M.J. Ramirez on the outside, able to take that position. Rick Lovison and Ryan Bowles still fighting it out just behind. There, Lovison on your screen with Howard Livingston now getting into that mix just behind. So Livingston with the Coconut Castaways and getting so close there to Ryan Bowles. Bowles, I think, trying to trap him in there. Meanwhile, we've got lots more action happening up front. It's Graham Bunyan, David Strid, Dominic Harte, who has now gotten around Jason Lowe and now racing for this position here in 5th. That's David Zaleski on the inside, now making his way around Matty Simpson on the outside in the red machine. So Zaleski back in the cockpit, back in the league after an extended sabbatical, but there you can see a little bit of contact as we've got one driver in the wall. That's M.J. Ramirez. He went up there, and I think he tangled with Matty Simpson trying to make a pass on the outside, but there he's dragged in the wall on the outside. This may be it for M.J. Try to gather it back up, save that car, see if he can stick in this draft, hold on for another lap, but it just looks like that car won't turn very well. So MJ has to back out of it. That's going to leave him waiting for a yellow flag, unfortunately. Graham Bunyan, however, falling to second, he and David Strid swapping the draft here back and forth. We're now starting lap number 7 for the Rescue Ranch 190, presented by Jason Lowe. Lowe still in this race, 7 laps in. He's hanging out in 4th place. He's only dropped a spot, but how about Dominic Harte? He's up 3 spots from where he started. So racing well here today. Dominic planting that car where it needs to be on the track. Able to carry off a few moves, and we get this action a little bit further back. This is Ryan Bowles up 11 spots. Bowles is into that 6th spot, so talk about being able to race your way to the front. Matty Simpson just behind with Jimmy Brennan on the inside, and Rick Kelbaugh now starting to squeak up that inside as well. So perhaps Kelbaugh still with something to say about this one before too soon. Matty Simpson kind of blinking out there on the screen. Of course, the way that might show to Rick Kelbaugh and to a lot of these drivers is Matty Simpson blinking out, but if you were Matty Simpson, the whole field would blink out. So that can be quite unnerving if you're a driver and you've lost all your bearings with the other cars. But back up at the front, the dynamic duo from Australia continues to swap draft. David Strid, Graham Bunyan putting on a show for these sold-out fans here. Great to have you. So great that these fans here, virtual fans, paying the big bucks to sit in the stands. And now we've got this side-by-side action for 3rd. It's Ryan Bowles who's made his way to the front. He's now taking that 3rd position from Dominic Harte. There you can see from Harte's perspective, that Bowles just up in front there. Harte trying to hang out on the outside. Jump on board with Harte. You can see from pretty close to what you would be seeing there out of his visor. Kind of buffeting going on inside that car by the aero screen. See off the left-hand side, that's Jimmy Drennan. Up 4 spots so far today. And so Bowles now part of that lead group. You can see it's still pretty packed up here. We've got Jason Lowe, who slipped back to 6th position, lost 3 spots so far. You can see for that 3rd spot, still hot and heavy. Ryan Bowles still close enough, and we're 3 wide, just a little bit further back. That's Jimmy Drennan, who's now squeaked ahead of Jason Lowe. And now he's going after, he's taking Dominic Harte. on the outside. Jimmy Griffin on the inside in the blue and red familiar paint job. But there he goes to the inside of Ryan Bowles. Oh, he can't quite pull that one off, but he's close. On board with Jimmy now. The Michigan sunshine shines on these cars. They're doing over 200 miles per hour out there, 232 miles per hour. And there goes Bowles making his move underneath Graham Bunyan, so move him up into the second position. Bowles not content to sit back and let someone else do it. That's Bowles now side by side. He'll take that lead into turn one. So Bowles not afraid to get up there and mix it up and get this passing done. There you see Strid, though. He's not going to settle for second place, that's for sure. Strid loves to control the front. Of course, David Strid supplying the setups as usual to the league for this race, and Strid works on these setups, of course, during the week. And then Saturday, the whole group gets together and tests them. So Strid obviously knows what he's doing, knows how to race, and knows how to provide great setups for the whole field to be able to utilize and make adjustments to throughout the race. Of course, you've got the anti-roll bars, fuel adjustment, weight jacker, pretty much the three things that you would want to modify. And then over the course of the stint, tires will wear, so you'll adjust those different settings. But in the course of that, you might decide to come in a little earlier for tires if they're wearing too heavily. At a track like this, probably not such a big deal. Take a look at the weather there on your screen. 92 degrees, we've got 98 degrees on the track, so not the hottest, but 10 mile per hour cross breeze, that is something at this speed. So perhaps that can affect some of these drivers as they're trying to get their passes done. Just a little bit of a nudge in one direction or another as you're trying to make that pass. But Bowles and Strid continue to try to battle it out. And there we see a little bit further back, that's Drennan, who's now trying to battle this Gillespie for that fourth spot. Side by side they are, and Drennan just barely tucks back in. They head in through one, but this flock of Dallara IR-18s continues to be separated by just a very narrow margin, first through about 10. And so great that at least virtually the Indy cars can come back here to Michigan International Speedway. Of course, home to so many great races for kart, and don't forget the infamous US 500 races run in parallel to the Indy 500, and with their own stories and tragedy to tell. But nevertheless, we've got a heck of a race happening here. This is no US 500, but it is the Rescue Ranch 190, and it's turned into quite a classic. Always love it when this Michigan race comes up. Lots of chance for these drivers to really work on their drafting skills and strategize how you're going to get in the right place at the end. Also, not quite like iRacing Super Speedway, which we'll visit later this season on Talladega, where there's very little chance for the corners to really have a lot of impact in those races, to be quite honest with you. So anyway, Graham Bunyan has slipped back to fourth, and Ryan Bowles has taken over the lead once again. Bowles looking good here, up 16 positions, so clearly the hard charger so far of the day. But Bowles and Strid basically swapping draft each lap. Now David Zaleski has marched in front. That's right. New Yorker David Zaleski up in front of Graham Bunyan. Not sure what you would call someone from Brisbane. A Brisbaner? I don't know. To ask him sometime. But Graham Bunyan, the Brisbaner, Australian. Wow, we've got quite a battle happening now at the front. 5 cars, 6 cars now trying to take one position. Side by side by side. There's David Strid and Ryan Bowles up front. That's David Zaleski and Graham Bunyan battling it out for second. Drivers have to be really careful they don't get too close. Bowles sends it into 1. He's not afraid and he's not backing out. Bowles takes over that position once again. But here comes David Strid on the backstretch, and Bowles is kind of a sitting duck. Here comes Zaleski on the inside as well. Tries to freight train Bowles on the inside. You can see him just holding the inside there. But without the support of other cars, Zaleski not going to get that position. And Bowles now marches back to the front. Graham Bunyan on the outside and Jimmy Drennan hanging on. They're just outside. Jason Lowe in 6th, Matty Simpson 7th. Dominic Harte now passing for, Iñigo Mardones now passing Dominic Harte for that 8th place. Keeps swapping the position back and forth. Richard Kelbaugh, however, still hanging on to this battle in 10th position. That's how it looks from Kelbaugh's machine. Mr. Stickwick. That's how close you are to first place up there, or a potential podium. It just seems like you can just reach your hand out and grab it, but you can't. So once again, great to have you with us with 25 laps in, I believe, to the Rescue Ranch 190, presented by Jason Lowe, live from the virtual Michigan International Speedway. And just like that, we've got David Strid into the pits. He's been working his way down the pit lane, and it looks like someone's off. Who else is that? Matty Simpson. Quite an interesting pit in. For some reason not getting Matty Simpson entered pit lane. There it is. Okay, let's check out this pit lane entry for Matty Simpson. How close was this one? I think he got it down in time, but he did, for some reason, pull to the right. I don't know if he was just trying to show David Strid that he was there, but anyway, back to the live picture, and now we've got Graham Bunyan in the pits, as well as Ryan Bowles, Angel Ancanis Honks for Team Mazinger, Will Stearns, and Mike West, all now into the pits. Jimmy Drennan makes his way down with David Zaleski in tow, Rick Kelbaugh just back there, and Rick Lovison. See Graham Bunyan making his way out. And back at the front, it's Jason Lowe who continues to lead here. He saved the most fuel. You can see the Floridian now pulls it into the pits. And that will actually give over the lead to Dominic Harte. And Iñigo Mardones with Ryan Bowles trying to get that lap back, just having made his pit stop. So Harte, Iñigo Mardones, and Dan Ensch, followed by Livingston and Manuel Gomez-Esteban, the last 5 drivers who have not yet pitted. I'm sure we will be seeing possibly all of them. Nope, Iñigo Mardones not popping in, Dan Ensch not popping in, but Dominic Harte and Howard Livingston, Manuel Gomez-Esteban now making their way down the pit lane. Of course, we're just a little too slow to get those cameras, but we'll try to do a better job next time. There we go. Livingston brings it in. TheCareCamps.org, hooking at Castaways. Just behind Manuel Gomez, Esteban there for Team Mazinger. And Super Mongo. And now finally, Iñigo Mardones and Dan Ensch will pull it down onto pit lane. So, theoretically, Ensch and Mardones, I just don't think they can quite stretch it. You know, they were talking, Dan was talking about this ahead of time. He was saying 26 to 29 laps is the fuel window. Felt the car was just great. You know, all lanes in traffic as long as you stay off the apron. And so as these drivers start coming back together, that's Ryan Bowles, Graham Bunyan, Matty Simpson, Jason Lowe, and David Strid, your top 5. Watch to see where everyone else comes out, but these other drivers you do have to keep an eye on because they said it's tempting. Dan said it's tempting to try to maybe stretch it and get away with just 2 stops. I don't know if he can do that. He's going to have to do some really crazy fuel saving over these last couple of stints if he's going to be able to pull that off. But if he did pull it off, there is a chance. I'm saying there's a chance that he could do it. He's just got to be able to pull off an extra lap beyond what he's already done, and that's asking a lot. But that's why you do it. That's why you go for it. Either way, these drivers not engaged in that super fuel saving battle. Ryan Bowles, Graham Bunyan, Matty Simpson, Jason Lowe, and David Zaleski, your top 5. David Strid, and then it's a little bit further back to Dominic Harte. And that's Iñigo Mardones just behind as well. That is for 7th and 8th position. Just a little bit further back, that's Howard Livingston, who has come back out in 9th place, up 4 spots today. Interesting post from Howard Livingston. Always enjoy his Facebook posts as well. But these beautiful sunsets, beautiful sunrise. Like one day there was clouds, and we were like, "What's going on, Howard? That's weird." But yeah, I think he posted yesterday that it was like 80 degrees. Cumberland Key, and the same day Rick Lovison posting that he had like 9 inches of hard-packed snow basically fall in his place in Massachusetts. So really, you know, it's an interesting mix. Air Seattle, Tacoma, it's just been really cold. It's supposed to get colder and colder this week, into the teens, and potentially going to get some snow, but and I will be shocked if I'm doing another broadcast from Seattle, Tacoma. Stay tuned for that and the move of our headquarters coming up next week. Ryan Bowles and Graham Bunyan continue to battle it out, though, at the front of this one. Bowles continuing to snatch that top position, and we've got David Zaleski going around. There he is. Is this going to bring out the yellow? I don't know if Zaleski can get it going again. I don't think it will. He stayed green. Zaleski having a moment there, and the yellow does come out. Well, that's certainly unfortunate, but we'll have to take a look at that. Also have another note. This is Jimmy Brennan not long ago. We'll take a look at this one first, and that is Dan Ensch having a really amazing moment. Well, we've got to examine that one. That just popped up while we were looking at this other action, so let's see if we can see exactly what took place. This is after he's coming out of the pits, so we'll see if we can fast forward through this and see exactly what happened after Dan left the pit. And he just loses it on pit out. I can't even believe that. That's just such an awkward place to lose it. Did he perhaps hit the apron on exit? Oh, he hit the grass And that's what did it. Let's see here as he starts heading out, and he does. He just kind of loses control a little bit. Does he overspin the rear tires is the question. Let's see if we can hear whether he gets some overspin. It's really difficult to tell. It's almost as though he missed a shift or something. I'm not really 100% sure, but either way, the car kind of kicked to the left, and that really caught up Jimmy Drennan in that incident. You can see how violent the crash that was. And very lucky that Howard Livingston didn't get involved in that. Numerous other drivers getting by as well. Go back and see if we can see what that looked like from Jimmy Drennan's point of view. Back it up just a little bit here. So there you see Dan on the low line, and it's not what you're just in the middle of a race, and that's not what you want to see happening right in front of you. That is the end of a great run from Jimmy Drennan and Dan Ensch. So tough for those two drivers. Also, we've got Robert Barnicow in receiving service on pit lane. And Robert has an interesting paint scheme, that is for certain. So while we're under caution, go ahead and quote-unquote pay some bills, and we'll take a look here at the Rescue Ranch and hear a lot more about how great this facility is in North Carolina, with some very famous names from racing that you might know. Stay tuned.
Is this thing even on?
Hey guys, I'm Carson.
And I'm Kennedy.
And welcome to Rescue Ranch. Here at Rescue Ranch, we believe learning, inspiration, hope, and exploration are the keys to enhance the human bond and respect with all animals. And believe me, we have lots of animals.
Lizards, birds, snakes,
Hedgehogs,
goats, and guinea pigs, rabbits, prairie dogs, geckos, chinchillas.
My favorite animal at Critter Camp is the bunnies.
The bunnies. My favorite animal at Rescue Ranch is Ivy. Ivy is a Flemish giant rabbit.
My favorite animal is Copper.
Copper, and he is a guinea pig. I don't get to meet giant lizards from Cuba very often.
We have tons of programs for all ages with animal interactions, science experiments, service projects, special speakers, and even birthday parties. All of them promoting compassion for animals and responsible pet ownership. The best way for us to learn is to get involved, and that can be a lot of fun, but sometimes it's a lot of work.
We have cleaned the animals' enclosures.
They poop on their cages and we have to scrub it off, but it's hard to get off.
It's important because they want clean water and clean food and just a clean enclosure and a clean life.
It's not as bad as you would think.
Since 2012, Rescue Ranch has grown to one of the premier animal education centers of its kind, reaching thousands of children in North Carolina and beyond. And with your help, we're making the experience available to everyone with this incredible 10,000 square foot inclusive playground allowing children of all abilities to play together.
When I first saw the playground, I was really excited that there was a playground. So we don't only get to see the animals, we also get to play. There's swirly slides, and tall slides, and short slides, and bumpy slides.
Lots of stuff you wouldn't expect to see on a playground.
The first thing I saw and wanted to do was the zip line.
The zip line. The zip line. I really like the zip line. I went on the zip line first because it looked really, really cool. The zip lines and the net and like the little swing that goes like side.
The spinner thing?
Yeah.
Rescue Ranch has come a long way.
And we have a lot more planned. like nature, hiking, and walking education trails, a 24-hour emergency veterinary clinic, and a rescue foster adoption program.
Just remember, everything we've done and everything we will do is thanks to you.
Thank you for helping Rescue Ranch.
Thank you for helping Rescue Ranch.
Thank you for supporting Rescue Ranch. We can't do it without you.
We can't do it without you. Please be generous.
That's a wrap.
Oh, goodness.
So, of course, you get a great chance to see there in that YouTube commercial. They've got many more different YouTube videos that talk a lot more about the Rescue Ranch. Of course, this race, Rescue Ranch 190, presented by Jason Lowe. And we thank him so much for bringing Rescue Ranch to our attention. As always, each and every season now, it's become a staple on the calendar. And always a great chance for us to talk about the rescue animals that are out there that need help. Rescue Ranch was formed in 2012 on 87 acres in Statesville, North Carolina. The 501c3 nonprofit animal welfare organization co-founded by Chrissy Newman and NASCAR driver Ryan Newman. That doesn't really get mentioned in that video, but that's the real tie-in to racing right there. Great organization. Humane Education Center that provides sanctuary and permanent residency to over 80 rescued animals. These animals all have a story to tell as they came to the ranch from situations like neglect, hoarding, or owner surrender. And they're affectionately known as Rescue Ranch Animal Ambassadors. And so there's so much hands-on learning that goes on with kids, as you can see in the commercial. Kids love coming out to the ranch, learning about how to care for and take care of these animals. And of course, all of these kids going to be great, responsible pet owners and perhaps caretakers of other rescue animals over their lives. Because they're the future veterinarians, they're the future well-being of animals out there. And so not only is it great to get involved from their standpoint, but also from continuing to support those animals and just continuing to create more programs for education and outreach. There's a lot of chance to go out into schools. There's a lot of chance for school field trips to come to the Rescue Ranch. So all of this is awesome stuff. And there's so much more to find out about different events and different things that go on out there at Rescue Ranch. So make sure you check out RescueRanch.com, RescueRanchAdoptions.com for the adoption program. And you can also give them a call. I didn't have it on the screen, but 704-768-0909, 704-768-0909. That's the Rescue Ranch. And once again, just so great that we get a chance to talk about such a great facility. And, really, that's what it's all about here with these VirtualRacing.Network broadcasts. We really do love to get some of that great information out there about great nonprofits and what they do. And Jason Lowe, of course, himself, kind of running a rescue facility of sorts, finding Jeep the Cat, his most famous recent one, inside of the suspension on a Jeep and bringing him home from his work. And then just watching the progress as really, kind of a wild critter has to settle into his new surroundings and his new friends. And Tiffany Lowe posting the other day really touching, heartwarming photos of Jeep settling in with the other cats and sharing spaces, sharing and cuddling. And, it just takes time. I think that's one of the big lessons of Rescue Ranch is a lot of these animals that are neglected, etc. just takes time and understanding and care and love. So support that. Head over to RescueRanch.com, Rescue Ranch Adoptions. Once again, great to have Jason Lowe support for the VirtualRacing.Network broadcast as we continue our lap 51 of 95. We did have that short caution. I don't know if that's going to help anyone's cause. It may, in fact, help drivers like Howard Livingston and Iñigo Mardones, who had been saving fuel. So we're going to have to watch what laps they come in on. So everybody choosing to come in on 37. So yeah, I don't think anybody really taking advantage of that last caution. No, I take it back on lap 37. So they did come in for the caution. So basically everybody in the field taking advantage and resetting. We didn't see a moment there with Will Stearns. We're just going to take a look back. I'm not sure. Oh, this was just before the green flag. Did he have trouble exiting the pits? This actually sounds like it was after the green flag. And there he gets down onto the apron, so kind of a self-spin, and didn't collect anybody. So Richard Kelbaugh getting by there. So that's the live picture. And we did have this one more incident. This is Robert Barnicow, I guess, deciding he did hit the wall. Go there. I'm not sure if maybe he just didn't get the damage fixed the way that he wanted it to, or something, because pretty much just exited the pits and then got out of the car. So who knows? Maybe bio break, wife calling for him to take out the trash. I don't know. We don't get that communication, but either way, Barnicow is done for the race, out of the cockpit. And Dan Ensch did make it back into the field. However, after that crash, he's now several laps down. So we will take a look here in just a moment at the points, see how they stacked up before they came into the race. But right now, they're fighting to make the most amount of points count right now. So however they stacked up before they came in, it is certainly going to be different here in another 30 laps or so. But Graham Bunyan continues to try to battle, as we've now got Matty Simpson and Ryan Bowles, who have taken over the front two. Bowles having a fantastic race here today, kind of taking no prisoner, not really settling for second place on the track. And there you can see, it looks like Matty trying to snag that position back. Side by side here for the lead of the Rescue Ranch 190. Matty Simpson takes that position. Will he hold it? More than likely not. You can see Ryan Bowles sliding by on the inside once again. These two swapping positions. So your top five currently: Ryan Bowles, Matty Simpson, Ryan Bowles, Graham Bunyan in third, and then Jason Lowe and Iñigo Mardones currently shown up there. But actually, you see Jimmy Brennan, who unfortunately got taken out in that incident earlier on with Dan Ensch due to no fault of his own. Jimmy Brennan looking very racy here, trying to get his lap back. In fact, no, he's multiple laps down now. I believe that's 2 laps, so, or possibly 3. It's actually 3 laps for Jimmy Brennan down now, so he's got a lot of work to do. Try to catch back up again, but lap 59 of 95, and Matty Simpson in the lead for a moment while Ryan Bowles works his way back around. And Jimmy Brennan right there in that virtual third on the track, although he's not actually in third. He's trying to get that lap back, so will he try to make that move is the question. Hanging out on the high side, looking very racy at this point. Kind of thinking, I'm sure, you know, like, what could have been? Like, I was in the right place at the right time. Well, I was in the wrong place The right place at the wrong time, the wrong place at the right time. What type of mental gymnastics you play with yourself after you just end up getting caught up in someone's incident. But you got to put it out of your mind and go race, and that's what they're doing out here. It's great to have 19 drivers in the field here today. It definitely points to a little bit more of the popularity of doing some of these ovals. Take a look back from Ryan Bowles as he cruises back into the lead. So just to recap, it's Graham Bunyan who sat on pole position today with David Strid just in tow. And they led through most of the first part of the first stint. However, it was Ryan Bowles who kind of came out of nowhere, and I mean literally came out of nowhere, came from dead last or thereabout, and all the way up to the front. Currently leads this race, and as I said, is taking no prisoners. We're now just over 2/3 of the way done with this Rescue Ranch 190, race number 3 of season 17 for the International IndyCar League. Will Matty Simpson have something to say about this one? You know, Matty's one of those drivers who definitely knows his fast way around International IndyCar League. He's certainly put his nose up there in the front many a times. Will today be a day that he can take victory? That's a good question, as we do have Ryan Bowles now smoking those tires coming into the pit, spending the most amount of fuel. This is interesting because he'll only have to stretch 31 laps, and I think everybody, if they were to have to pit right now, would be able to make it. So Bowles kind of doing an aggressive strategy to come in and get tires and fuel, and the thing that you're going to have to watch out for is he going to be put out there by himself? We can put the track map up there for you so you can follow along, but if he can't find a drafting partner, and we do also have Rick Kelbaugh running into the pits as well, if he can't find a drafting partner, it could be all for naught. So he's got to get up there and try and get the draft of these drivers as they come back by. Very fortunate the timing for him to come back out onto the track, because this is the main group here. But again, if you come out onto a place on the track where you're not within 2 seconds of another driver, very likely you're going to lose time. So for any of these drivers, Angel Alcañiz-Ponce. Oh, I knew I was going to butcher it. Angel Alcañiz-Ponce. Great to have you with us in the field so that I can try and learn how to pronounce names. Currently into the pits, and once again, this is the same thing. Will Stearns in the pits, Dan Ensch in the pits. So, you know, where they come back out, it may not be so easy for them to be able to capitalize, because they will come back out pretty much by themselves. Now, they could come out together. That would be helpful. Hey, I just want to welcome all of you who are joining us live here, VirtualRacing.Network. Dominic Harte giving us a big shout out, saying, have a good race all, and Merry Christmas, everyone. And indeed, we will not be on the air for next Sunday. So if you're out there listening, greatly appreciate watching along. Feel free to chime in with your comments. But happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, even if you're not like a big celebrator. Got Jason Lowe, Graham Bunyan, David Strid, Manuel Gomez Esteban, Angel Alcañiz-Ponce, and Ensch. Yeah, I mean, if you are giving presents away, why not head on over to RescueRanch.com and give them a little present, slip them a little 20 or something, tell them that you appreciate what they're doing, and you love the International IndyCar League where you saw their name featured. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. But Iñigo Mardones making his way into the pits just behind Howard Livingston. They'll get their final stops done for the day. Livingston Hard on the brakes there. Make sure he gets stopped in a row, gets ready to go. He'll have a flagman on his screen that says go, go, go. And you'll hear that on his spotter will tell him go, go, go. Of course, we don't hear that. This is the part right here that got Dan. Somehow on pit exit there, sounded like the shift, something went wrong with the shifting. And, you know, look, I'll just say it. I mean, it's easier said than done as we see Dominic Harte now make his stop. It's easier said than done to do this pitting thing. I mean, it seems like that's the easiest part. You're going the slowest speed. But, I mean, look at the precision that's required. Now, of course, while you're on pit lane, you can overlap cars. But once you get out of pit lane, collision can occur. So now you have to come up to speed, hold tires, and stay in this very narrow lane. Very easy to drift out wide, etc. Now, as you're watching Dominic Harte here, okay, so he does find a couple of drivers to draft with. And as I said, you know, any of these other drivers that you can see there, shift over to a separate window, helping us see a little bit bigger. So, Angel Oncani's Ponce here riding around in 16th position, unfortunately, by himself. Also, Howard Livingston, kind of by himself. All by myself is what he's singing to himself right now, because he's a musician and he has a great voice, unlike me. But he's probably singing a song to himself. It's probably some Jimmy Buffett song of, I don't know, being alone on a boat or something. But there's Howard having to get it done by himself, and when you look, just shift the graphics a little bit here, you can see, and ignore where it said caution, it always does that when it first comes back, but you can see the lap times there on the screen, and Livingston 32.94 by himself, Zaleski 32.76 in that draft, Bunyan 32.21, Hart 32.48. So, you know, Bulls out front alone 32.78, which is comparative to what Livingston is running. But those lead drivers in that draft have, as you can just look down through the last lap times list, massively faster per lap. And that information, of course, at the left-hand side of your screen. So you really start to fall back, and if you watch his gap, now at 5 seconds, that's too far to catch that draft, and you'll start to see it continue to slip further and further back. Presuming that these drivers at the front don't keep swapping to the point where they lose overall speed. But there you can see Livingston a little bit further back, 5.02, and it kind of stabilizes, but no way to make any sort of progress towards that front group unless you can find that draft. Really the main point of that. But these drivers now kind of running nose to tail, and that's M.J. Ramirez, who is trying to get his lap back, and in fact he is only one lap down, so that would be very helpful for him. He does have to make it by Ryan Bowles. That's rather easier said than done. But MJ would love it if he did do that and a caution came out, because he would be able to just cycle back up and around and have a chance at this one once again. So, great to have you with us. There's 20 laps remaining. There was a photo finish in Pocono. Monza last time out, not as much. And we'll go ahead and put the points up since we have no idea whether we're going to get another caution here. Just show you those points real quick. I did add another table. So I apologize, it takes up a bit of graphic space there, but you can see Graham Bunyan, your leader after 2 races, 96 points, got a clear lead over David Strid with 1 win to his name and a pole position, 6 bonus points. I've also added in this new column for top 5s, and right now that doesn't matter so much but you'll start noticing that column starting to get filled up with some of these drivers that, much like Dan Ensch, he frequently found himself in that top 5 position. So will we find some of these drivers out there today and start racking up those top 5s and getting up there into the top 5 or top 3 in the championship? That is something we'll watch for. Still early on, Jason Lowe in 3rd, AJ Burton falling down through the field as he's not been present at the last 2 races, and so really his championship hopes starting to fade. We do have a note that Dan Ensch has had a moment. He left the pits, and is this once again same thing? Just pulls over here. Guess maybe there was damage and it didn't quite get fixed the way that he wanted. So back to the live picture. And there is M.J. Ramirez, who has gotten by. And there you see Matty Simpson, Ryan Bowles. Piece this one together, because Ryan Bowles is still shown as your leader. Matty Simpson, Graham Bunyan, they're battling behind, but M.J. Ramirez has gotten that position. But the caution were to come out. M.J.'s in the right place to circle back around and get back into this fight, but gonna need a lot of help. Oh, and Ryan Bowles almost gets stacked right behind M.J. MJ pulling it into the pits. I don't know if he just didn't call it out. That was a rough one. Let's see if we go back to that. This was just a moment ago, and we'll see if we can jump to the chopper view buried in our notes. And it was just this close. The MJ getting ready to come down into the pit, and well, we'll look back there. Ryan Bowles, he gets right under that rear wing, and he has to check up out of that lead position. So will that cost Ryan Bowles here today? He's already dropped back down to 8, so he's at the back of this pack now. And that puts Matty Simpson up into the lead with Graham Bunyan, David Strid, Jason Lowe, Dominic Harte. Your top 5, Iñigo Mardones, David Strid, Ryan Bowles, Howard Livingston, and Manuel Gomez Esteban. Your top 10 with Rick Kelbaugh and Rick Lovison. The next 2 right in tow. So this whole group still together here through 9th place. Having Howard Livingston at the back of this group, and then you got to go 7 seconds back up the road. There's Manuel Gomez Esteban, Kelbaugh, and Rick Lovison all traveling together. Back at the front, though, as they make their way down the start-finish straightaway. It is Matty Simpson, Graham Bunyan, David Zaleski. And they continue on in that order. In through turn 3 and into turn 4, it's Graham Bunyan and Iñigo Mardones battling it out side by side with David Zaleski now in that mix. Side by side for Iñigo Mardones and David Zaleski for that 3rd and final podium position. Kind of a point of pride. Well, that time with 10 laps to go. So Trevor takes the back seat, lets these drivers do their thing. So feel free to turn it up for a few laps as we listen to the song of the Dallara IR-18 IndyCars. around, just 4 laps to go. You've been watching it. David Strid, Graham Bunyan, David Zaleski, your top 3. Kind of hanging out together, but we'll see whether or not anyone tries to make any rash moves. Here they are working around Ryan Bowles, who is the first car a lap down. At this point, first car a lap down. Bowles sticking in that group, trying to take that position back, and Graham Bunyan trying to work with that. Also, David Zaleski sucking up on the back of that group. Jason Lowe not too far back to pounce. We might keep an eye on that pink Kirby, pink pig there, see whether or not the Rescue Ranch Special can find its way into victory lane. That would be something special here for the Rescue Ranch 190, but several other drivers thinking about it. Graham Bunyan sitting there in second place. Sorry, third place. Now Jason Lowe puts his nose up in there on the outside of Graham Bunyan. Here he comes forward with 2 laps to go. It's Jason Lowe trying to make that move, get it done on David Zaleski, the New Yorker, on the left-hand side. Here he goes. He sticks it in there on the outside of Ryan Bowles as well. Can't quite get the momentum coming off the corner, but he manages to slot in just in front of Zaleski. So move Lowe up into that second position as Ryan Bowles is not racing for position. He's a lap down. Actually, he's gotten his lap back, but he's not racing for first. So David Strid still up in first, and there comes Graham Bunyan back to the inside on Jason Lowe. Lowe gets pushed to the outside. Will Lowe be able to hold that position? Bunyan runs him up the track, and there, David Strid taking victory here at Michigan. Graham Bunyan second and Jason Lowe in third. Dominic Harte fourth and Iñigo Mardones in fifth. Hard-fought victory for David Strid, the Australian. Not quite a photo finish, but 0.2 of a second over Graham Bunyan, and it looks like just about the same margin of victory for Jason, or margin between Graham Bunyan and Jason Lowe, like pretty much a... If we can jump back and take a look at this. This was how they finished up. There you see Lowe and Bunyan. Bunyan just at the line getting that position. And Iñigo Mardones also very close there in fourth place. So we will wait for these drivers to come in. Let's go ahead and take just one more look at that finish. It was very close there between Jason Lowe and Graham Bunyan, and what a heck of a photo finish between them for sure. Let's see if we can get the infamous. Well, actually, if we go one really great one here, fine. There we go. So we'll be able to see, I believe, very close from this angle, how close they were at the line. There you see the flag in the hand of Barney the Flag Man as they come across. Wait for them to come across that finish line. Happens all in the blink of an eye. Comes the checkered flag out. And that's how fast it happened. I thought I would speed it up. Well, we'll just back it up anyway. Good times here on VirtualRacing.Network, trying to do stuff in real time. But that was how close it was. I think we can actually get it this time. Always love doing this myself live. That's how close the margin of victory right there between David Strid, of course, taking it by several car lengths, but between second and third place, not much. Dominic Harte actually getting fourth position, and Iñigo Mardones there. Very, very close margin over David Zaleski. So awesome stuff. Great finish there, and we're going to look for these drivers to join us now in our post-race discussion, the Rescue Ranch Victory Lane. We'll wait some of the drivers to head on in, wipe the sweat off their brow, so to speak. We'll see if we can catch up with them here in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. Dan Ensch letting us know, don't know when he's had a worse race, so sorry people got caught up in a mistake with Jimmy. Angel netcode was really bad, just no one's at fault, not his day at all. Dan Ensch checking in over in the Discord, letting us know that wasn't the type of day that he was hoping for, and of course Dan Ensch fans out there a little sad, but he'll be having some good races coming up, that's for certain. We wait for him to check in with us soon enough. But, well, while we have a moment, I think we found our second place finisher, Graham Bunyan. And perhaps we can get him to stop on by and say hello. Do you got a copy on me, Graham?
I do, yeah. How you going?
I'm going well. How about yourself, my friend? You ended up in second place. That's not too bad, especially when you know that guy who's in first. Tell us all about your run here at Michigan.
Yeah, hopefully my voice sounds okay. I'm fully chocked up with COVID. Mate, crazy race all over the place today. That's what pack racing brings, I suppose.
You got the vid. My goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that, my friend. It's been going around. Tough to hear that, but well, are you you got it bad? You got all the symptoms, or are you doing okay? How's it going for you?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Well, yeah, just trying to catch a breath. Is pretty short breath. That's about it. I'm normally pretty fit, so yeah. Anyway, wife had it, so I called it off her 3 days later, but it's all good.
Oh, that's a shame. Is she has she recovered now? Is she clear, or are you guys both quarantining?
No, she recovered pretty quick. Although she was sick a little bit before that, but wasn't COVID. But yeah, 35 months I dodged it for. So who would have thought I got it at home instead of working in the hospital?
Exactly. Well, and that what happens. That was the story with my dad. But nevertheless, a cautionary tale for everybody right now is a really great time if you can. Take all those precautions. Easier said than done if you're around loved ones, etc. But just got to do everything you possibly can to keep from catching it. But either way, Graham, sorry to hear that. But we'll of course look forward to your full recovery, and I won't stretch your vocal skills anymore today, other than to ask you how did it unfold for you there? Were you in the right place the whole time? Were you looking at possibly taking that win, and you just didn't have anything for Strid there at the end? How did it go?
Yeah, a couple of stragglers got, it sort of spoiled my fun, but I had to go back. Somebody hit me, I think it might have been Jimmy at one stage there, put me up towards the wall, which damaged the front left wheel. So after that I was struggling with a car that had understeer. Just had to chuck a heap of changes into it, completely opposite of what the setup was.
So Strid, of course, developing the setup, and sometimes it races great with 1, 2, 3, 4 cars or whatever, but you get into a big pack and things can really change, and as tires degrade, things can change even more. But people getting up there and in the mix, I mean, it's all part of it. Yes, you can race with the leaders, etc., but they can cause a real interesting situation. We saw Dan Ensch having a really rough race today. He came out of the pits and caught the grass on the inside, shot up the track, and Jimmy Drennan had nowhere to go. It just seems like every race there's something that's catching some of the top runners out. But Graham, nevertheless, second place, you're leading the points. I mean, you only give up a couple of points to David Strid today. It's still, you're recovering with COVID. Hopefully we'll get you back and good after the holidays and for our Homestead New Year's shootout. But it's got to feel good. You're back in the cockpit. You're in the championship lead, and at least something good to think about going over the next 2 weeks, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure. You know, I'm not the only one that's sick. We've got a few of the guys that are sick in there, Dan as well. So, mate, yeah, no, look, it is what it is. I don't know what happened with Dan and Jimmy. I did see it on your replay whilst we were going around. I think the flag marshals were on another vacation, I believe. There should have been a yellow and there wasn't, so not sure what happened there.
Indeed, and then Zaleski had his issue and then corrected it and everything was fine, but they threw a yellow for that. So I think someone was the flag marshal, the head flag marshal who calls the yellow flags was perhaps having a break, or perhaps they themselves have COVID, getting a little foggy head. Either way, everybody got to deal with it the same way, and you take second, so congratulations to you. And of course, our next race will be Homestead. Now, that's one of your absolute favorite oval tracks. You seem to have a lot of success there. Any thoughts?
Eyes forward, ass up, and away we go. Yeah, look, Homestead's always an interesting one. You know, it's those walls actually make me go to sleep. They have some type of hypnosis going on. I never, ever am alert at that track. It's those walls just do my head in.
You know, I hear you. I have no idea what I would call that, but you're absolutely right. It's got that sort of weird hypnotic quality to it. Either way, I hope that take your coffee beforehand and you're all ready to go, because you're leading the points, and I think everybody's going to be looking forward to a great race there. You do have a lot of mastery. You've won there a bunch of times. Good luck next race, and good luck over the holidays and with your recovery. I'm sure all of your fans and the rest of the International IndyCar League fan base will be looking forward to your recovery. So good luck, buddy, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, no worries, thank you, and well done to the podium, Jason and Dave. Dave on the win, Jason on the third, I believe it was. And Rescue Ranch, I think that's Howard, is it? Is that Howard?
Nope, that's Jason.
Oh, it's Jason. Sorry, Jason, if you listen. Sorry, man.
He just doesn't carry he doesn't carry it on his side pod. We gotta talk to him about that.
Okay. Yeah, get it on there. Let's take that pink pig something with the Rescue Ranch on the side of it.
There you go. Words from the champ right there. Graham Bunyan checking in with us, and good luck next time, buddy. We'll see you. Get some really good sleep and recover, please, for all of us.
All good, man. Thank you.
So, Graham, of course, has to go back to his healthcare job whenever he's recovered, and be a bright, shining light for all of those people who are struggling. But nevertheless, checking in with us, and of course, sharing, even though he has COVID, checking in from the other side of the world, from where we're broadcasting from, and making it a great show today, taking second place. So we do have a chance to talk with a couple more, at least Dominic Harte from fourth place. That'll be great. Hey, Dominic, you got a copy on me?
Yeah, I catch each other.
There he is. Hey, Dominic. So, congratulations, fourth place here. You're doing well in the points. And of course, we didn't get a chance to talk to you after the Cancer Council race a couple of races ago, but of course, we do really appreciate bringing that awareness for Cancer Council at Pocono. But nevertheless, good season going. You got fourth. You moved up 2 spots for today's race. How did it feel to you out there? Did you like the setup? Did you have to make a lot of changes? And just tell us about your race.
Yeah, I mean, well, first couple of races of the season have been a bit quiet, but I was happy for a better result this one. This race, yeah, it was just sit and wait for this one. I think it happens all the time on this one. Until the last 10 or so laps, and then no changes really to the car. I mean, David does always do a great setup. It was only in those last couple of laps that I just actually put some weight adjuster in just so I could hold it tight for the worn tyres, but otherwise it was good. And just a bit indecisive there coming up to the line. Probably chose the wrong line and then ended up with fourth. I thought I might have been able to get third, but yeah, but it is what it is.
So, the setup though by Strid, did it give you options? Did you feel like you had to make a lot of changes? And then, as far as that pit strategy goes, were you really thinking you could cruise around, save fuel? Did you think that was not the strategy to go with? Just wanted to be up at the front. What were you feeling today with those cautions that came out?
No, I mean, until the last stint, I was in a high fuel map all the way, just saving fuel, just sitting behind. So yeah, it was easy. I mean, as I said, David did a great setup. So early on in your stint, you're able to follow a car no matter where you are. It's only when you come into later in the stint that the tyres are worn, and you have to choose a line. But that's all it is, really. It's nothing major.
Well, and then so then there at the end, you had to contend with sort of getting boxed in by Zaleski and also having Jason Lowe just in front of you. Was there a point that you did think you could slingshot all of them? Were you like trying to, in your brain, imagine like a way that you could just draft by everybody on the last lap or something?
Yeah, I mean, going into 3, I thought I might have a chance for a podium. So I kept it up high. Yeah, I was obviously being careful and sort of don't want to contact that late on in a race with anybody, but I got a bit forceful with David, and that's going into that last lap. I had to really, just to stay where I was. I thought about slingshotting past 1 or 2 of them before the line, but I was a bit indecisive. I was going to go stay with Jason on the high side, and then I dropped it down to behind Graham, and I probably should have chosen that a bit earlier and gone, but
It's what it is. You'll still take 4th and live to fight another day. Either way, great job today, and you know, it's all part of staying up there in the points. So now we're gonna take a look here at the schedule, upcoming schedule for the International IndyCar League, and of course we do have our next race going to be at Homestead. I'll see if I can make that a little bit larger on the screen. Any thoughts on Homestead? Is it one of your favorites? Is it one that you feel like you can be super competitive at?
Is it Homestead or Texas next?
Oh, am I looking at the wrong? No, it is Homestead. Homestead is the New Year's race, and then Texas would be the following race, unless my schedule's wrong. Let's look at here. I'll go over to SimRacer Hub and we'll see what it says, because sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I publish the schedule and nobody tells me I got it wrong. So we'll see here.
No, SimHub says Homestead, but yeah, I think the iRacing setups needs to be adjusted. That's all. That's what I was looking at, but I will sort that out.
Okay. Whew. You get it. I mean, hey, I'm real easy to gaslight, let me tell you, because I have the worst memory. So it could have been Texas, and you know, it wouldn't surprise me if I published the schedule out there and like nobody said anything. They were just like, oh, I don't want to offend Trevor, and then we're talking about it in the broadcast. It's like, whoops, we got it wrong. But it is Homestead. You know, used to be kind of like Indy, and then they changed it. And either way, the blue walls, they put you to sleep like Graham Bunyan, or is it a track you think you might be able to do well at?
Hopefully I'm going to do well. It's not one I race at very often, admittedly. I mean, unless I'm doing this in the league, I don't really go to that track at all, really. Not even in sort of the fixed setups or anything. But yeah, hopefully I do well. I'm just decided that I was going to be a bit more forceful this season, just to see if it makes a change to where I end up at the end. So see if I can continue going forward.
Well, we certainly can't forget, you know, what was it, season 14, I think, when you made your debut, the final race of the season at Indy, and you took the win on broadcast. Something with the force was happening at that time, so whatever it takes to get back up there and in the mix, that's what we're looking forward to. And always great to have you with us, Dominic. And of course, thanks once again for being a great presenting sponsor of races here in the league. And we'll get another chance to talk about another one coming up at the end at iRacing Super Speedway. But great job. And next race, there's you know, you don't know it very well, but that's the reason why you'll probably be right up there at the front challenging for the win. Congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, bud.
Yep, I hope so. And yep, thank you. And obviously, thanks to Jason and Rescue Ranch for the sponsor of this race today.
Absolutely. So that's Dominic Harte joining us from 4th place. Always great to have him with us. And So that is going to do it for us here today. It was a fantastic race, the Rescue Ranch 190, presented by Mr. Jason Lowe, who actually came in third place here today. Unfortunately, we're not going to get a chance to chat with him. But nevertheless, congratulations to all these competitors. Fantastic, clean, fun race, great racing. And that's what you can expect here in the International IndyCar League. If you want to get out there on the track with these drivers, link is down in the description. It'll take you right over to iRacing. You'll get a chance to talk with the administration, let them know who you are, what you've done, and they'll allow you to come out for the Saturday practice, assuming that you meet their minimal qualifications. And then Sunday, you could be out there. So not this upcoming Sunday. Once again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, all that you celebrate out there. Of course, Happy Solstice as well. Yep, then the next Sunday, it'll be New Year's Day. What a way to kick off 2023. You want to be in the race? Say hello by clicking on that link down in the description. If you want to sponsor, hey, this is a great time to jump on board. Also, make sure to click down in the link. You'll see that you can email us or talk to the administration that way as well, and let them know you want to sponsor these races or you want to sponsor the whole league. There may be some news in that coming up. I can't really divulge any details, but interesting things cooking. So on behalf of everybody here in the International IndyCar League, my name's Trevor Greenfield. You've been watching VirtualRacing.Network. So great to have you with us. We'll look forward to next time from Homestead. Until then, so long, everybody. Make sure to subscribe and click the like button. Bye-bye.